guys, welcome back to Homeschooling Life. Today I'm going to share a video that is actually a collaboration with Abby at Rooted in Rest and Jessica at the Waldock Way. This is their Homeschool Show and Tell, and it's for the month of May. And Amanda and I have done several of these collaboration videos, and I'm a little bit late getting mine out. They usually post their videos at the beginning of the month, but you have the whole month to link up, and so I'm going to do my video today for that link up. And it is all about mother culture, which, if you don't know what that is, mother culture is a term that was, I think it's actually copyrighted now by Karen Androla. She's just a big name in the homeschool world, especially in the Charlotte Mason world. And essentially it's talking about how you as the mom or the homeschool mom, I think really any mom, you do not have to be a homeschool mom, you know, to do these things. But it's essentially how you self-educate, how you feed into your own soul and spirit or education, knowledge, while also, you know, especially as a homeschool mom, you're doing that for your kids on a daily basis. And so this is the things you do to just enhance your own life in general and things. So I've always enjoyed watching videos that had to do with this mother academia, mother culture. A mother's morning basket is something that a lot of them have termed it, but I've never necessarily, you know, established these routines in my own life on a, you know, like official, you could call it, basis. But this is something I've been thinking about, especially since Abby shared her video at the beginning of the month, and so I watched a few of the other videos in the playlist, and we'll plan to link up there, and so you can go watch those videos. But just something as a homeschool mom that we're not always good about doing is refreshing ourselves or resting. And so this is the beginning of summer for us. We are starting summer break here in our home. It's officially began about a week ago for us. And so this is the time I usually spend wrapping up things like transcripts or, you know, grades for the year. If you're keeping grades, that might be something you're doing as well. I have some high schoolers now, so things are looking a little bit different than they did when my kids were all little. But we're also, you know, already digging into new curriculum and looking at what we're going to do next year, which is enjoyable and fun. But I find that if I don't take a little bit of rest or downtime before I jump right into those things, my choices or what I'm looking at is not always the best, and they ended up changing anyway as summer goes on and things. So giving myself a little bit of rest and downtime before I jump into looking at new curriculum or deciding on things. Now, some things are going to be the same. They're going to, you know, carry over because we just have those tried and true curriculums or tried and true methods that we're going to keep using because we've been homeschooling for so many years now that we've established a lot of those things. But if I'm not careful, I'll jump into that like, ooh, something new, something cool, because you're kind of tired of the old things. So how this ties back into what I was thinking about with mother culture is this is a good time for me to stop and to evaluate our year, to look back, reflect on, but also to feed into myself with good books and good literature and prayer and, you know, just meditating on what my role as my kid's mom is just as much as their homeschool mom. And so I'm going to share just a few things that I'm going to do this summer that I've kind of been establishing. Actually, I've been doing this over the last few weeks, and just to kind of feed into myself, to rest, to recuperate, to have you know, a clear mind as I'm going in, hopefully towards the end of summer into the next school year. So the first thing I do, this is not new, this has always been a part of my life, is my morning quiet time, my Bible reading. this has been something consistent for a long time, but this is definitely, like, I would say, the top part of my time to focus on my spirit and my soul. And so this year I'm doing the 1 year. This is the 1 year Bible. It's the ESV Bible, and I'm working my way through this. I'm pretty much on play. I'm a few days off from, the exact day, but that doesn't bother me. I will get through it. Sometimes I'll have extra time to read some days, and other days I don't. So I'm doing my 1 year Bible study in the mornings. And also when I have extra time, I'm kind of focusing in on a book of the Bible. And right now that's James. That's what our church is doing. So the book of James is kind of where I'm digging a little bit deeper when I have extra time on certain days. So first part of mother culture for me would be my Bible time and prayer. So I'm going to pull this book out. This is something I've just implemented this week. This was something that my husband was given from our church, and he came home with several copies from a men's group thing that they had recently, and it's called The Handbook for Praying Scripture by William Varner. And this is a really neat little book, and prayer has always been something that I have never had like a lot of structure in necessarily. I do a lot of prayer journaling. I tend to find that when my mind won't focus on prayer in the morning, writing my prayers help that. So I still do that. I actually have, I'll show you, this is my prayer, I would say, like, scripture prayer journal that I've used probably for a year or two now, this particular one. And so prayer journaling, but these have, it has prayer scripture for the month. So there's something to pray through each day of the month. So this is like day 17, and it has like scripture, and then it says pause. And this is about adoration, the first one. Pause to adore God with someone else today. And then it'll say Thanksgiving. It'll like kind of have a scripture that's put to prayer. And then affirmation, disciples prayer, petition, intercession, and then a benediction. So that's like a daily thing. They also have a weekly one. There's like a prayer for every day of the week, and it's kind of broke up the same way. And then they also have just a few different things, an appendix, prayer for Christian holidays, prayers for the Christian life that they've just pulled out of like, I don't know if it's like the Common Book of Prayer or just different things like that. So I'm using this. So this would be my first part, is focusing on the spirit, my spiritual well-being and stuff in my mother's morning basket. And then the next thing that I'm doing right now is, after I get done with my Bible portion and prayer, I'm trying to read a nonfiction, something that's going to edify me or grow me, I would say. So for me right now, I have started this. I'm not very far into it, but it's how to read the Bible for all it's worth. I've seen this recommended. Let's see if it'll focus in. Sorry if the lighting, there's a little bit of a glare, but it's by Gordon D. Fee and Douglas Stewart. It's just kind of breaking down how the Bible is written and the parts of the Bible, and what the Bible is about, the need to interpret a good translation, the epistles, the Old Testament narratives, and it just breaks down the different parts, the Gospels, the parables, the laws, the prophets, the Psalms, different things. So I actually had this on the reading list for my kids this past year, and I never got around to like pre-reading it, and that was something I wanted to do before I just had it so we could have good discussion. So I held this back, and this is going to be something I'm doing over the summer. I'm not very far into it at all, but I've started it this past month, and so I'm going to pre-read this, and this will be something hopefully that I can give to my older ones, and we can discuss this next school year. Another book I'm also reading, and during whatever time, I read through this one really fast, but this is Mere Motherhood by Cindy Rollins, and she is just a homeschool mom. She's a veteran homeschool mom in the homeschool community, and if you know anything about Charlotte Mason, you've probably heard Cindy Rollins' name brought up. But I've listened to her podcast, I've listened to her on other podcasts, and I've never read her book. So this is kind of a biography, I guess, of her life, essentially, or it's called Morning Times, Nursery Rhymes, and My Journey Towards Sanctification. And if you've heard the term morning time or morning basket through the years, actually, I think that would go back to her. That's kind of where that term developed, was something she did with her children through the years. So I flew through this book. I read it in less than a week, just a few days, and it was a really good book. So just to get my mind thinking and centered on where I want, where I want our homeschool to be and what I want it to look like. And I read from different thoughts and different people, but this was a good one. Another good one that I could recommend is from Sarah Mackenzie, Teaching from Rest. That is a great book if you are a homeschool mom. And so I have read Mere Motherhood, and I'm also on my Kindle, or my husband's Kindle, we share this, but I got her second book. It's called Beyond Mere Motherhood, and it has a little bit more to do with this topic of mother culture and self-education. And so I'm a few chapters into this one now and thoroughly enjoying that. But that would be my recommendation. Spend some time reading some homeschool books or some, homeschool enrichment things during your summer break to kind of focus back in on what you think, you should be doing. All right, I got interrupted, but we're back, and now I'm going to talk about just a few other things that I like to do during this time of year, and that is reading for pleasure. That is something that I do not always get to prioritize through the school year. Amanda and I have done book clubs with our girls over the last 2 school years, and so we're definitely still carrying that out through the summer. I think Amanda mentioned that in her last video. We are reading, it's actually a book that I have previously read this past year, so I'm kind of just like rereading through it, skimming through it quickly, but it was the Frozen River was the title, and I can't think of the Ariel Lawson, I think, is the author, and I think I talked about that in a previous video, but that's what we're doing for book club this month. So I'm kind of I have the audio version too, so I'm skimming back through that quickly when I'm getting the chance, just so I'm refreshed for book club coming up. But I'm also reading another book right now. It's called The Book Lover's Library by Madeline Martin. This has been a fun book, and so just a fun read. It's an easy read, I would call it, and stuff. And so that's my goal for the summer, is just to get through several of books that I would call on my TBR, to be read, that things that I have saved and want to read and just didn't have a lot of time. I usually tend to get through about 1 book a month during the homeschool year. Definitely could prioritize more, but that anyway, I have extra time right now during the summer, so I'm prioritizing this. And then also I have a couple books here that are some classics, and that is something that I'm trying to focus on during these summer months as well to get through. So one of them is, I have had on my nightstand for a while, Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen. I haven't read this book. I've read several of her Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, and Emma back in high school probably, so maybe due for a reread of some of those, but I have never read this book, so I'm going to try to read that one this summer. And then my big possible, I'm not committing to this one yet, but is Anna Karenina by Tolstoy. This book, it's a big book, and I found this copy recently thrifting. So how many pages is this one again? 800. So it's not terrible for a classic. I feel like it's a pretty hefty book though. My husband's read this and recommended it to me, and so this is on my possible, we'll say, goals for this summer as far as classics go. And then along with that, I think I mentioned, like, I have my journal and my prayer and scripture notebook. I kind of keep some of that in here, but I'm a notebook girl. I keep lots of notebooks. I have one that's just kind of like homeschool, any thoughts, kind of a brain dump book or ideas. Anytime I want to do a video, a lot of times I'll do that. I have a notebook going for that. And then I also have this one, and this would be my commonplace notebook, I guess you would call it. That's another term that they, the Charlotte Mason world uses a lot, but it's kind of a place to like jot down you know, excerpts out of literature that you read, or scripture or prayers sometimes could be in this even. I find sometimes when I'm listening to a sermon, I might copy something down out of here, reading a book like that. And I do keep sermon notes in this one too. So that is something, anything that goes along with that, but just some quotes. Poetry would be another one if you read poetry or you see a poem in a book or different things like that. So I would use this book to keep up with that. And so that is kind of my collection of what I would call as my mother's morning basket, mother culture, whatever you want to call it. I know I don't want to get copyrighted or anything if that, but it is essentially the enrichment that I'm trying to put into my own life, that I want to put in my kids' life as a homeschool mom as well. But I think remembering that when you're educating yourself as a mom, that is only going to benefit your homeschool. And so that is really what I'm trying to do, especially at this beginning part of summer, before I jump back into homeschool planning, before I start preparing book list or anything that I'm wanting my kids to do this next year. That first I am focusing on just rejuvenating myself during this early part. And so that is all I have to share with you guys today. I hope this video was informative and helpful. Let me know if you do anything for mother culture or have a mother's morning basket, or if any of these you've read any of these books or anything looked interesting to you. I'll probably try to share some other books as I'm reading through the summer. I may do like a what I've read and things, just kind of as an accountability thing here on this channel. So thank you guys for joining us here. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We would love to have you here. And go check out the other videos in this playlist over at Rooted in Rest and the Waldock Way. This Homeschool Show and Tell has been a fun thing to be a part of here on YouTube, and I look forward to the videos that they'll be doing for this next school year, hopefully. So we hope to see you all here again soon. Bye, guys.